What's going on, everyone? Sports Snippets here. Dennis Sullivan on a Saturday Dolphin update, which of course makes today the 26th of September, due to the fact that we won our Thursday night game, which was awesome, over the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-13. If you do like the content of this particular video, please go right ahead and hit that like button if you'd like to do so. That would be awesome. You can also find me on various podcast platforms at Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan, the same name. So check me out on my podcast if you have some time later on during the week. So anyway, guys, let's talk about this game. This was the first win, of course, for the Dolphins on this young season by a score of 31-13. To bring our record to 1 win and 2 losses. There were some really good things that happened. You know, it's great to be not just sitting here on a Saturday afternoon getting ready for football Sunday, but also getting ready for this being the third Sunday or week 3 of the NFL season, knowing that the Dolphins have already played. We've already won our game. So let's just kind of take a quick second, let all the other teams, you know, go through the stresses. Some of those are great, you know, awesome stresses, you know, and a lot of fun, but let them go through the, shall we say, emotional roller coaster, for lack of a better description, of a typical NFL game. And it's always a lot of fun, though. So always a lot of fun to watch, and it's great. You know, sometimes I see some comments on social media about, like, well, it's not quite the same as with the fans and the seats and, you know, whatever and all this stuff. I mean, I understand. I get it. I understand it. But for me to watch it, it's still a lot of fun. I mean, you know, and they have the noise, maybe the artificial noise, the crowd noise. It's working for me. I'm enjoying watching these games. I certainly hope you are too. Now, let's get into the breakdown of this particular game, which saw Ryan Fitzpatrick played a very strong first half. It was one of those type of games where Dolphins had the lead. We don't have many of these, by the way, but it was nice to see. Dolphins had a nice, comfortable lead at halftime, and we just kind of coasted on until the very end, and it was definitely enough to win this game by 18 points. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, I mean, from an efficiency standpoint, did really well, completed 18 out of 20 passes. I mean, that's 90% of his passes. Yardage wasn't very high. I mean, he had 160 yards throwing the football with 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He was only sacked once. So, I mean, when you combine turnovers and sacks for the Dolphins in this game, just 1, guys. I mean, that's a great formula right there for success. And the Dolphins were very, very, very careful with the football, and they just didn't make many mistakes. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. Helped us tremendously in this one. Myles Gaskin with 66 yards on the ground. He would lead the running attack. 22 carries for Gaskin. I mean, you got to look at that. For you fantasy footballers out there, fantasy football players, take a look at that, because he's getting yards in the passing game too. I mean, I know he's not putting up awesome numbers, but he's certainly getting the volume. So something to keep in mind there. Fitzpatrick would have 38 yards on the ground also on 7 carries. You had the Jakeem Grant run of 29 yards, which was really nice. Matt Breida and Jordan Howard, the 2 newcomers to the Dolphin rushing attack. Both have been very quiet this year. I think Breida has done a little bit more as far as in the passing game, and Breida is probably going to really pay dividends for the Dolphins, as should Jordan Howard. I mean, he's a proven player, but it's the Myles Gaskin volume that, to me, is unexpected. I mean, I'll take it, though. I'll take it. It's a pleasant surprise. So you had Breida with 4 yards rushing on 3 carries, Jordan Howard 3 carries for just 1 yard, but he did have a touchdown run in this one. As far as the receiving goes for the Dolphins, Devante Parker leads the way, 5 catches, 69 yards. Gaskin chipping in 29 yards receiving on 5 catches. Jakeem Grant had a 19-yard reception. Mike Gesicki, only 1 catch for 15 yards, but it was the really nice touchdown reception that he had in the first half. Big play, nice nice catch and just a nice play right there. And then all of a sudden it seemed like they were targeting him a little bit. He started getting some targets, getting some looks in the passing game on the next possession, just prior to halftime. And then things just kind of cooled off, not just for Gesicki, but for the entire passing attack. We really didn't need it, meaning we had a nice comfortable lead. We were just pretty much holding on to that lead. So understandable. It's those games where we lose by 2 touchdowns and he only gets like 4 or 5 targets and 2 or 3 catches. Those are the games where I do get a little upset as a fan, because I know Mike Gesicki's a very good receiving tight end in the National Football League, and hopefully will be a Dolphin for many years to come. Isaiah Ford. All right, we had for him, we had, let's see here, we had 2 catches for him, for Mr. Ford. 2 catches, 14 yards. I was looking at my notes there for a second. A little bit of a scribble on my end. Usually I have better handwriting than that, but I'm like, what the heck did I jot down there? But anyway, Isaiah Ford with 2 catches for 14 yards. Durham Smythe would have 7 yards receiving on 1 catch. Preston Williams had a nice touchdown reception, 2 catches for 7 yards. They would comment that Fitzpatrick, and that was a tight window he threw in. Ryan Fitzpatrick completes. He's one of the, and exactly what is the equivalent of, or what equates to a tight window. But what that formula is, I don't have. But he is one of the top quarterbacks in the past year, Ryan Fitzpatrick, in getting that ball into a tight window, as was that touchdown pass and, of course, touchdown reception by Preston Williams. Gardner Minshew, the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, overall, I mean, his numbers weren't that bad. 30 out of 42 for 275 yards. No touchdowns. He was intercepted once. He was sacked 4 times. Gardner Minshew, in his second year with the Jaguars, he has a lot of potential, guys. I mean, he could really turn into something special for the Jaguars. I remember him just a few short years ago at Washington State, and remember, if you recall, he was putting up some serious numbers in college football, and in the whole Pac-12. I mean, he was really, and if I'm not mistaken, he was even for a while in the Heisman race, the race for Heisman Trophy. So I mean, Gardner Minshew, and then of course I remember the time in I believe it was the Washington State game, and it was like a blizzard outside towards the end of the season. You see Minshew out there warming up without a shirt on, It was like, he's got that edge to him, kind of that semi-tough kind of thing going on there. So that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But, Minshew has his own style. He had some personality, I think is a key word when referring to Gardner Minshew. But anyway, problem for the Jaguars this game is they just couldn't get it going in the vertical game, in the vertical passing game. They just couldn't get it going. Much of Minshew's yards, I'm sorry to report, were really in garbage time, and a lot of it was underneath 2 running backs, and just underneath passes. But the running game wasn't too bad for them. James Robinson, real good-looking player there. They have the rookie. He has a lot. Talk about potential. 11 carries, 46 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's a little over 4 yards a carry. He only had 11 carries. They were down most of the game, but he was effective. Minshew had 22 yards rushing on 3 carries. He did have the fumble lost, though, that he did lose. Chris Thompson would have 2 carries for 3 yards. Laviska Shenault Jr., 1 yard on 1 carry rushing the football. In the receiving department, Robinson. So James Robinson, take his 46 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He comes back with 83 yards receiving on 6 catches. I mean, he's well over. He's almost at about 130 yards total offense. Pretty impressive. Keelan Cole, 4 catches, 43 yards. But that's one of your vertical guys. I mean, as Thompson out of the backfield would have 5 catches, 35 yards. So the guys that can stretch the field, like a Cole, they just didn't have much opening. They didn't have much opportunity. You got to give the Dolphin defense a lot of credit there. Chenault would add 5 catches for 33 yards. Chris Conley, 34 yards on 3 catches. James O'Shaughnessy, 29 yards on 3 catches. By the way, the Jaguars would have 9 players with receptions. Tyler Eifert, the tight end, 2 catches, 11 yards. D.D. Westbrook, there's a name from the past, 4 yards receiving on 1 catch. Colin Johnson had 1 catch for 3 yards. But yeah, I mean, they had 9 players with receptions. Did the Jaguars, guys. Did the Jacksonville Jaguars. Third down efficiency, gotta love the Dolphins in this category. Much improved from what we saw in the first 2 games. 7 out of 13 on third down conversions for the Dolphins. Jaguars were only 3 for 10. That's a key stat, and they were only 0 out of 3 on fourth downs. They went on fourth down 3 times, did not convert. So your third, fourth down efficiency for the Jaguars, 3 out of 13. That's a key stat right there. Dolphins do not turn the ball over. Jaguars turn it over twice. And then, as already discussed, only 1 sack against the Dolphins, Fitzpatrick, versus 4 for the Jaguars, Minshew. So if you add up turnovers and sacks, only 1 for the Dolphins versus 6. That's right, guys. 6 for the Jaguars. In my humble opinion, that is your key stat of Week 3 for the Miami Dolphins. So, guys, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun watching Thursday Night Football. If you're viewing this video prior to Sunday or maybe on Sunday, enjoy the day, enjoy Monday Night Football, enjoy all of it. I'll be back. We'll have some more football to discuss, but for now, the Dolphins are 1-2. I'll take it considering the fact that we played Buffalo and New England the first 2 weeks. I think in all reality here, if you're 2-1 after these exact same 3 games, you're super excited. But I'll take the 1-2. An 0-3 loss would have been absolutely demoralizing. I mean, what team? No team wants to start 0-3. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Go ahead and like the video if you do like the material and the content of this particular video. And subscribe. Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. I'll catch you soon, and I'll also catch you on the podcast. Bye for now, guys.